All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuning into another weekly episode of the Rated RX podcast. I'm Robbie Abbasi here with Sam Lona and Xavier Hill. We're your hosts, and we're going to take you on an adventure full of laughter and wild times. Boys, how are you doing on this fine day?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good. It's been a good work week. Don't have any students this week. The medicine team that I'm working with, they've been mildly pleasant. Like the interns are like answering the questions quickly, and they're making changes and taking my recommendations. So that's nice. And I played a little basketball out at the work and had a lot of fun. And it's been a good week. Been a good week so far.
Nice. So you're feeling good right now. You got the euphoric feeling there, some basketball victories, some medication victories. Wow, man.
Yeah,
Good for
yeah.
you.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah. Now, how you doing, Sam?
Doing pretty well. Weekend, hung out with my cousins. Did some wine tasting. They came over and we hung out. Had a good time. It was nice and sunny, which was nice. They had a wine crush contest. We didn't do it, but it's full on. Like you're up on a stage, 4-person team, and like racing and crushing grapes, and they're like weighing it by pound on teams and giving out prizes. So that was fun to hang out with for a little bit. Got a email from California that they're going to be inspecting by the end of the year, and they wanted a whole list of a whole bunch of paperwork. So I pretty much spent all day trying to compile paperwork to send to them. So that was quite annoying. But luckily, the questions of are there any major recalls, any major things, it was all just easy no's. Didn't have to worry about that stuff. But still, they want all sorts of paperwork, more than any other state, if you believe it or not.
You're welcome.
Yes. I believe it. There's no doubt in my mind that's the case.
Yeah, it's a process here.
Well, that's the price you got to pay for selling to the 5th biggest economy in the world, bro. So what can you do? What can you do? Your place wants to make some money just like the rest of us. We all want our bread. So,
and your week, sir?
My week's been pretty good, man. Today's was a little weird just because it rained here in the San Diego area.
Really?
Yeah, we got like a little storm that came in from off the coast. And
wow.
Yeah, it was bizarre because I'm just driving. I'm like, what the hell, dude? It's like September. And it's like, this is when it's like the hottest. So it was a trip. But aside from that, it's been pretty good. Just been doing a lot of pharmacy events, going out in the community, spreading out some health knowledge. So that's fun. It's nice to get out of the pharmacy and get some sunshine. So feeling pretty good as well. Well, then, on that note, boys, I'm going to pass it on to Sam. We're going to jump right into it, into our weekly weigh-in.
Thank you. You are listening to the Rated RX podcast. I'm Sam Lona here with Robbie Abbasi and Xavier Hill. We have the weekly weigh-in of a message sent in to us. And so this one is about compression stockings. So someone came into the pharmacy on advice of his physician to get compression stockings. And he asked me if they came in ankle length so he could wear them with shorts without them showing. Ankle length. I don't know if I've seen those. You guys seen those compression ankles?
Nope. Haven't seen ankle length ones.
Neither have I. It's an interesting idea, but
maybe didn't quite understand why he was asking to have those purchased. But what sort of pushback do you guys ever see for medical devices, for compression stockings, anything that people have to wear, put on, that they get irritated, annoyed with, don't want to use or wear? Robbie, anything come to you?
Yeah, not specifically compression socks, but what comes to mind is CPAP machines, specifically for my dad.
Yeah.
So, he needs this device, and the doctor emphasizes, like, you need this, man. Like, this is going to save your life, and you're going to feel so much better and refreshed. But my dad is very adamant, and he's just like, no, I hate wearing this thing. It's super uncomfortable. I feel so tired the next day, and I don't feel like I'm getting any sleep. And I'm just like, well, how do you feel now? He's like, tired because I'm not getting any sleep. And I'm like, well, what the heck, man? Like, so just wear the damn thing, you know? So it's, so I try not to guilt anybody, but but also you need to be realistic about these things too. But definitely a lot of pushback with the CPAP machine. And I get it. I don't want anything on my face when I sleep. So I'm a very sensitive sleeper. My wife moves and I'm just like, oh, what the heck's going on over there? You know? So I can't imagine wearing a CPAP machine. I'd probably do some pushback too, but it's necessary. It's necessary.
Has he tried like other different types of face mask and maybe one that's a little bit more comfortable for him?
He has not, man. He just is so adamant against it. He got a CPAP machine one time, took it home with him, wore it for like 2 days, and he's like, "I'm done with this." And he just like now just sits on the floor, collects dust, and doesn't not even interested in going back to get refitted, seeing what else is out there for him. He's just like, "I'm over it, man." And I was
Oh,
like, "You really want to die, man? Like
Dang, they had
you're
chance,
just
one
over it."
chance to
Yeah,
reach him.
yeah,
dang.
yeah.
Well, at least, yeah, maybe you can get him to try it again.
I try. He's a stubborn man,
Don't give up.
Us Abbasis, man, we're stubborn. We're stubborn, you know? Where do you think I get it from?
Yeah, he's like, you guys are gonna join me on this podcast.
Yeah, just like that. That's how it was said.
All right, Zay, anything for you on pushback that came to mind or you've seen?
The biggest thing that comes to mind for me is, patients, they rehab and then they need to use a cane or a walker. That can be very common. These guys at the VA, there used to be buff military guys run miles, do push-ups, kill someone with their eyes closed type guys. And, you give them like, hey, you can't walk by yourself anymore. You're high risk for falling. You need to use a cane or a walker. And they just like, no, I'm not going to use this. You know who I am. So that's one thing you definitely can see like a lot of pushback for because it's for their safety. You're not the same person you used to be. You got a lot older, and this will help you kind of be safe and maybe it's a transition and walk around more safely without falling. Because like a lot of these guys on blood thinners, you fall and hit your head, it can take you out. So don't be afraid to use your walker or your cane. Make it look cool. You make the walker look cool.
Get some flames on there.
Yeah, the body of a 60-year-old, but the ego of a 25-year-old. What can you do, right?
Yeah.
Speaking from experience, I see.
Busted. My body feels like it's 60, man. Am I like that sciatica? I used to pick on people for it, but man, that karma's a bitch,
Coming
man.
back. It's
It's
coming
coming
back.
back.
Robbie, I
Like,
think I got my sciatica working out with you.
oh,
One time
sorry.
I did like hundreds of squats, tweaked my back. It hasn't been the same since.
Well, we found the source, I guess.
And a bossy.
Sorry, guys.
For me, nothing really comes to mind for pushback. Obviously, people don't want colonoscopy bags. That's never a
Yeah.
go-to. But what came to mind for me was just like finger pricks, like multiple
Oh.
checks a day, things like that. So, in my head, it's like, hey, we've got these new devices. These things, you just put them on, you're good to go. But I have seen a number of patients who just aren't taking blood sugars because they just don't want to keep. They're tired of pricking their finger, and how annoying that gets. So, hopefully, that's some of these devices that have come out are helping those patients that either had needle phobia or just tired of doing that over and over, where they got to check multiple times a day. But
Yeah.
kind of going back to the compression stockings, trying to explain that to this patient or different ones that you guys have seen or had. Anything where you're just having that patient that can't grasp it, you're going to explain it over and over. You finally just give up, or that phone randomly disconnects on that patient. Robbie, anything along those lines?
Not to me specifically, but my wife likes to tell me stories of people inappropriately choosing various walkers. So she works with a lot of patients who sometimes they'll have Parkinson's disease, they'll have unsteady gait. And the thought is, hey, I want to buy a walker. Obviously that makes sense. I need something to hold me up. But there are a lot of differences to walkers. There's ones that have like four wheels with that have the seat on, and I think they're called rollators. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
Someone can
think
correct
so.
me on
Something
that.
like that. A roller, yes, rollators. I think
Rollators, yeah.
something like that.
Those are apparently very inappropriate for people who have Parkinson's disease because it's got four wheels, so it's not as steady as opposed to the ones with like two wheels and then the two little stubs. And so she'll often tell me that she'll evaluate a patient and the family will come in and they'll bring like this the one with the wheels, and she have to explain to them, she's like, no, this is inappropriate. And they're always like, okay, but I need to sit down. And it's just sort of like, okay, well, but don't sit on this. Sit on an actual chair. So it's just a lot. It's a lot of pushback because they don't realize that it's inappropriate and they don't see the bigger risk of, hey, I could potentially fall and basically wheel away and fall forward on it because they tend to lean on things like that. So yeah, a lot of pushback she gets. A lot of pushback. I haven't heard any stories of anyone biting the dust from it, fortunately, but it's a risk. It's a risk, and so a lot of times it's just her educating patients, like, no, this is an inappropriate walker for your older dad or older mom, right?
Makes sense. Makes sense. Gotta have the right tool, right piece of equipment there for him. Xavier, anything for you?
No specific examples I could think of, but I know with certain patients, we do a lot of medication education. Sorry, um, and sometimes they just don't get it. But there is nice part is we have a lot of visuals that we can use to help them understand things. We have handouts. We definitely do the teach back method and have them try to explain it back to me what I taught them. And then over time, you can just kind of keep working with them. If you know that they will have a difficult time understanding or grasping, you have to kind of keep work with them and teach them. And then sometimes you teach them in the family. That way, you got a little bit of backup. So those are some things that I've done to deal with those patients who are not able to grasp it. And then our last resort, we send them to a skilled nursing facility. Like, you can't take care of yourself anymore. You need help, or assisted living, something like that. And and then the nurses there do it for them. So yeah.
Gotta take care of him. For something that came to mind for me, I guess nothing really equipment wise, but just things like needles, syringes, sharps containers. I think it gets to where like people have used something before or are used to it. Like I remember specifically someone asking about our sharps container, and I was like, what's I don't understand what the question is. Like, you just you can put your needles and syringes in there, but I guess they had ones where they specifically would split and had the connector on there so they could break off their needle into their sharps
Mm,
container. But
mm.
ours are all one piece. And so I was like, once I kind of like figured that out, it's like, oh no, you just put the whole thing in there. Like you're like, don't worry about it. You just drop that baby in there. You're good to go. But and people that have used certain syringes or something like that, where it's just one way, and it's like, yeah, these are units and mils or cc's or however they might have used versus what's printed on what we're giving them. And so I think that's where the confusion or the kind of thing of grasp, like they're just set in their way. It's like, I know I've done this before. I know this is how it works. It's like, okay, yeah, but this one's in a different unit. So
That math ain't mathin'.
the math's got a math. So what kind of I guess fashion statements do you think we can make with this medical devices, things to help people be more comfortable wearing their equipment, their devices, be more comfortable knowing that it's okay to have a glucometer and take care of yourself? Or do you guys have any recommendations or the things you might suggest to patients that might make it a little easier for them?
Hmm. I think it helps to try to make it look trendy and, just nice looking. It is sort of like off-putting to wear something that screams like I have a medical need. It's sort of like those are things that we like to keep private. So just something that's discreet, something that just looks like it's a regular sock, for example. I was thinking, maybe for these compression socks, gym wear is very in, for athletic wear. Maybe have you guys ever seen those gym shorts that have the compression shorts in the actual shorts too. So it's like a second layer you put over. Have you guys ever seen those?
Like double shorts?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the inward short is like the compression underwear, basically. Well, maybe you could like extend that so you're just like putting in a sock / some pants, and it looks like you're just working out. And boom, you got some nice fancy athletic wear. Problem solved. Patent pending, guys. So don't steal my idea.
Just walking down the street, working out, no big deal.
Exactly. Or you just tell people you're a flight attendant, and you go for long flights and you got to sit for a while, so you need to wear those compression socks. Can make up an excuse, something. I don't know, man.
Captain Abassi.
That's what I do.
That's right. Zay, any ideas?
Yeah, I mean, just you know what I hate about like companies that make these medical devices or assistive devices? They always make them so ugly, or they make it like too bulky to where you can't hide it. They need to think about these type of things. Like, how can I make this discreet? How can I make it look sleek? Bad part is they probably try to charge more for the nicer looking ones or the more concealing ones, right? And then the cheap ones are just, people have to deal with those and they fall apart easily or something. But, maybe they can just like before they create it, like figure out what the patient would actually want. How can I make this a lot easier for the patient? And, it still do its job, right? Like, they gotta hit two birds with one stone there. And then your product will probably sell a lot better than, competitors if you have something like that. And another thing is like maybe cool colors. People like to pick their own color, and I think that'll be a fun way to make it more, more trending. Let them have more color variety so people can buy what they want.
You know how on the Nike website you can design your own shoes?
Yeah.
What if you could design your own medical equipment? You hop online and you type in your prescription, it validates a link, so you could just like custom color your own thing. So you're just like, cool, this is an expression of my personality and who I am. Oh, also patenting that
Write
idea.
it down.
Okay?
Write it down.
Hey,
Robbie,
this right here is my
opportunities right here.
What's that?
These are business opportunities right here.
I know. I'm more of an idea guy than an execution guy.
Hey, we need those out there. Someone take this idea, become a millionaire, and tell them you got it from Robbie.
Yes. I'll just take a
give him credit.
2% cut of all your sales, please.
But yeah, making it personal. Of course, doing skin tones. I would say trying to, as you said, people being uncomfortable, trying to hide it more, being more comfortable with it, more fitted. Two tones, doing socks that can be, almost like capris, or as you're saying, shorts, something that matches your shorts, and go into skin tones, different things like that. But yeah, the Nike custom $2,000 medical device. Maybe you should talk to your dad about that. Maybe he just needs something like some flames, something. I don't know what's his favorite Pokemon. Did you talk enough Pokemon to him that now he has a favorite?
My dad is definitely not into Pokemon. He's a very old school kind of guy. So that would not fly. He's more of a boots kind of man.
What kind of hookah flavoring can we put in there?
My dad doesn't smoke hookah.
No hookah, just you.
Yeah.
So he was like, he wasn't the bad influence that got you.
No, it was my cousins.
Okay, the cousins. Of course.
Robbie the Wild Child.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We are moving on here for Xavier and a fantasy scenario for the podcast here.
All right, guys. This is the Rated RX podcast. This is Xavier Hill. I'm with you with Sam Lona and Robbie Abassi. And today we're going to do the pharmacy scenario. So I have a phone for you guys today. So I'm going to go over the scene with you, and then, you just tell me your reaction to it, okay? All right, so boom. Imagine this, right? Monday morning, you're in the outpatient pharmacy, regular day. Phones are ringing, you got patients that lined up, you're 3 prescriptions behind already, right? Then suddenly, fire alarm goes off, but it's not a fire. The entire pharmacy team looks up at the TV in the waiting area, right? Breaking news. FDA just approved a miracle pill. It instantly lowers the cholesterol, it regulates your blood sugar, makes you lose 15 pounds, and you automatically get $1 million, right? And guess what? Every single patient in town wants it now, right?
I
So
want it
within
too.
minutes, your line is out the door. Cars are wrapped around the drive-through. The doctor's offices are faxing hundreds of prescriptions. One patient even tries to bribe the cashier with homemade cookies to cut the line. Another shows up dressed up like a Comic-Con, demanding that the pill, they're demanding the pill like they're Harry Potter, like trying to will it into it with magic. Um, so the pharmacist is looking at the pile of scripts, and he's like, "Oh man, this is crazy. This is crazy." So then corporate sends an email. Here's a shocker: we only have 12 bottles. Use them wisely. So now it's like the Hunger Games. Everybody's fighting for the miracle pill. Who do you give it to? Your loyal patient, the one who's always yelling so they can shut up and get out your face, the sweet grandma who buys you chocolate chip cookies. The suspense is real. That's the scenario, guys. You're the pharmacist. You got 12 bottles of the magic pills that everybody wants. If this actually happened, what would you give? Well, who would you give the magic miracle pill first? And then why? Who would you give the pill to and why? All right, let's start with Robbie. He seems like he got a good answer for who we would give some of the pills to. You got 12 bottles. Let's say it's 10 pills per bottle. So
10 pills per bottle?
Yeah, you only got 120. These are miracle pills.
Oh gosh. I mean, I'm not above bribes. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, honestly, it'd be driven by guidelines, right? So I would look to see what guidelines are out there. And honestly, I'd probably come on a first come, first serve basis just to keep it fair. I mean, I know it's probably better to triage and allocate it, but that's going to be really hard to do when you have a drive through that's full of a long ass line, faxes, e-scripts coming in. That's just not possible. Honestly, I would probably just try to get rid of it as quickly as I can, just so I don't have to deal with it anymore. I'm like, you, everybody else leave. It's already been spoken for, because that just sounds like a nightmare. But if you're willing to bribe me, I'll give you it for sure. So I do like cookies, I like cakes, but I'm not above cash either. So
Okay. So you're not gonna save some Make-A-Wish kids or nothing like that. You're just gonna, just give it to whoever comes first.
if a Make-A-Wish kid is walking into a store that I own, then they are wasting their wish. So there are better things to wish for than this pill. I assure you.
Yeah, it might not be no good for them. All right, Sam, what do you think? What would you do? Who would you give it to? Why?
Well, as you were reading that story, besides for the money, I was just like, you know what? This is a GLP-1 right here. Like this is real world. This is what it's like
It's a zippy.
of those scripts just piling up on people calling. I remember like for a year or so before we even did it, it was like every single week, like someone asking, it's like, hey, do you guys compound this? Do you compound this? Over and over. It was crazy. So that was what me thinking until, it's like, oh, plus the $1 million. Okay. It's not quite the same. It is maybe a little magical, magical in
I
there.
had to add that part in to make it, really outlandish.
But I would say probably similar to Robbie, not necessarily, I guess first come, first serve, but like whoever's there in the pharmacy, it's like, okay, you came into the pharmacy, you're here. Yeah. Like we'll give you a pill. If it's not completely, backed up at everyone, it's like, yeah, whoever comes down can get it on any of those. And then all the faxes by then, probably it's like, oh, sorry, we're out. As Robbie was saying, like just return these faxes. It's like, oh wait, what time are you here? It's like, oh, this fax was sent 3 minutes ago, so I'm giving them this one. It's probably just whoever came down is getting those. Yeah, maybe you can squander a couple away. You do get that random phone call you pick up. It's like, okay, we'll give you one on this, but for the most part, yeah.
How many cookies are you willing to give me?
You come in, okay, you can get it.
All right, I'll tell you guys what I'm doing with it. I'm keeping all the pills for myself, and then I'm running. I'm getting out of there. I'm getting out of Dodge, and I'll take one every couple, whenever I need it. Running low on funds,
I'm taking the 12 million and going.
Feeling unhealthy, cholesterol. I can eat what I want now. I can get fat, and then boom, pop it, lose 15 pounds. Cholesterol back to zero, and a free $1 million. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm keeping them for myself. You guys are too kind. Too kind.
Where
I
did
didn't know
you
that
go?
was an option. That wasn't the question.
Hey, this is a fantasy scenario. You can do whatever you want.
Damn it, you're right. You're right.
Where are you going with these 120 pills?
I don't know. I wouldn't, kind of. No one will know I have them. I mean, I quit. I'm gone. I'm just be off the map.
Corporate knows. They sent out a mass email. Put your
Hey,
picture up.
Hey, good luck finding me, corporate. I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
I was waiting for you to say, I'm going to Mexico.
Going to Mexico.
Give me some antibiotics. All right, guys. So it's part 2 of this question, right? So what does this fantasy scenario say about pharmacists? Are we medication dispensers or are we gatekeepers of the miracle? Like, are they like, oh, he got a prescription, we dispense it, or, the people who didn't get it, they were like, oh, you guys are just gatekeeping. I was here before him. He skipped me, So what do you guys think the people will say about it?
I think they're already saying we're gatekeepers. So that doesn't really change anything. So especially with opioids, or people accuse you like, you don't know what you're talking about. You just give me what the doctor wrote. So that does not change anything in my mind, honestly. It's just, I mean, in the real perfect world, like, real talk here, we should really be giving it to the people who need it most, but it's just sort of like, how do you gauge that? Like, what's the criteria for who needs it most? So in a sense, if you're going with that moral code, you kind of are a gatekeeper, because you are deciding who needs this more and who doesn't need it more. So unfortunately, it doesn't intend to be that way, but it sort of just becomes that way inherently. So just part of the job. It sucks, but you do what you can.
Sam, any thoughts on that?
I would say there's a range. I'm sure all the people that got it are thinking you're awesome and the best, and everyone else isn't. But same idea of going to the GLP-1s, of like seeing people saying that, oh yeah, this is compounding is great. Like, thank you for all this, and couldn't afford $1,500 a month, and whatever it was that they were trying to get and pay. And at the same time, you get patients that obviously, in my case, it's compounding, it's something unique, but something's just on back order, can happen anywhere. And people just start flipping out about it. It's like, what do you mean it's on back order? What does that mean? How did that happen? Where are you going to get my drug? It's like, it's your responsibility to find me this drug. I was like, I can't do anything about it. Like, I know it sucks. Yes, I agree with you. But, there's 15 drugs at any one time that someone calls in for, that's on some sort of back order, national back order, out for a couple weeks, out for 6 months.
Sure.
And people get pissed, take it personally that, or I'm sure they truly aren't, but they're attacking you, of like, you need to find me my drug. You need to do this for me. And it's like, I got nothing. I'm sorry, but I got nothing.
I can't make miracles happen.
Here, take this pill. Like, this is all I can do.
Tell them to email their leadership, the governors and representatives, like, hey, you guys need to make this drug more available for us. All right, that was a fun one for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And now we'll move back to Sam, and we're going to have a little more fun with the Plan B blind draft.
All right, thank you. You are listening to the Rated RX podcast. I'm Sam Lona, here with Robbie Abbasi and Xavier Hill, and we are going to be doing the Plan B blind draft. This week, our question that we're going over is auxiliary labels that will get the most follow-up questions from your patients. So the ones where they get the callbacks, they turn back around and ask that secondary question. So number 1 would be what you think most people are going to be wanting to talk to you again about, what this label means that's sitting on their bottle.
Okay.
This is going to be fun.
I like it already, yeah.
All right, 1 through 5. First one here. The label says, take until you stop hearing colors.
What?
I got questions.
I got questions too. I heard that people like that actually exist, by the way. I have a story about that, but another time. I don't want to go on a rant here, but that's pretty up there for me. That's pretty up there for me.
Yeah, that's almost one. 'Cause, like, you know they're gonna ask questions.
I feel good about putting that at number one, honestly. I do.
Yeah, you might not have anything better than that. You can't,
Yeah.
right?
Let's call it bluff. Let's just do it,
Hey,
man.
let's do it.
Number
We haven't done
one.
it yet. Let's go.
Number
We're
one.
putting that at
That's-
number one.
Okay, locking in one. First time.
Bad idea.
Spence and
Love it,
acid,
love it, love it.
apparently.
All right.
All right. The second one here, label saying may cause explosive diarrhea. Consider it a cleanse.
Okay.
not bad.
Yeah.
I think they understand. Explosive diarrhea.
Yeah.
Cleansing
Stay
your
close to the
body.
bathroom. Stay hydrated. I'd say that's maybe
Pretty
like a
straightforward.
4 or
Yeah,
5.
Maybe even 5.
You
yeah.
don't think you're getting follow-up questions, huh?
Oh, we're gonna get follow-up questions for sure,
Just,
but
just not
it's gonna-
as many as hearing
Yeah.
colors, you know?
every one of these to some degree is gonna have a follow-up question if you made this list. So it's just a matter of how many.
I think this will be a little bit less. People are like, okay, well, might as well just sit on the toilet after I take this one.
Give me that depends. We'll be good to go.
Want to go 4 or 5? What are you thinking?
Let's go. You know what, man? We started
Okay.
extreme on one end. Let's do extreme on the other. Let's go 5.
Hey, I was thinking
Screw
the same
it.
thing. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Okay, 1 and 5 locked.
All right.
All right, next one may cause mood changes your coworkers will notice first.
What do you mean, my
that's a good
coworkers?
I mean, it happens. It's just the extra stuff. Maybe a 3.
Three?
There's some
Yeah.
humor to it.
That one's right in between, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get some questions, but maybe not more. Maybe not yeah. I'm thinking 3.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with it. 3.
Okay, we lock in 3. So you guys got 2 and 4 left.
All
Next one, for oral use only. If you need clarification, we're worried about you.
What? You need clarification. We're worried about you.
That was straight.
Is it like an analgesic?
Is it suppository?
Yes, so that's what I'm saying, right?
It depends on what it
Okay.
is for this one that they will have questions.
That's
If
what
it's-
that's what I'm
if
saying.
it's the
yeah.
tablet and it says for oral use only, and then the label is just making fun of them, like you're an idiot. It says for oral use, you know. Hopefully, it's just like a tablet or a capsule, and they understand it and like, oh yeah, I'm smart enough to know. Just take this orally. So I'm thinking we're gonna set it up like that and give it a 4.
Okay, let's do it. 4 works for me.
Okay, so then last one at 2. For best results, take during a full moon under a blood sky.
Oh yeah, they're definitely gonna have a lot of questions about that.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, I
Locked-
think we crushed it
locked in
again.
2.
I agree.
Damn, we're so good at this.
I think we just know Sam at this point. So
I think so. we do.
So you like your number 1? Take
Oh,
until stop hearing colors?
Oh yeah.
honestly, 1 and 2 can go either way. They're both great to me. But the color thing is, I like that one.
Okay, now quickly go on your rant. No
Okay.
lollygagging.
Okay. Well, on an unofficial segment of Robbie's rants. Okay, here we go. So I had a physiology teacher who was talking about how he had another grad cohort while he was doing a program. He said the fire alarm went off and they had to leave the building. And he goes to his partner and says, "Hey, that alarm is really annoying." And she looks at him and goes, "Yeah, it's a really ugly color too." Turns out this lady had her nerves kind of like switched around where she could actually see sound. So, because, your brain interprets everything. So it's just sort of had things crossed and she was seeing things. And he asked her, he said, "Hey, what color is it? Can you describe it to me?" And she says, "No, it's something that's not on the color spectrum. There's no way I can describe it to you." And this guy was like 75 at the time. Like he was an old guy. And he was like, he's like, to this day, I still will wonder what the hell that color was. So people like that exist?
Yeah, I think Pharrell can do that.
Oh,
Singer.
really?
I think I remember watching something of like that, listening or doing something that he can like see. He like sees the notes or like visually sees them in color as he's
That's
Whoa.
why
like
he's so
listening
damn
or
good.
making. Yeah, so like making music, like he's making it off of like color basis and stuff
Wow.
like that.
Do you guys ever like close your eyes and then like you'll hear a sound and then like you see like a flash come in your eyes? No? Oh,
I mean, maybe if
that's
it's like a light that switches on.
no. I mean like a sudden sound. Like I'll like try to be in bed and I'll hear a sudden sound and then like under my eyelids I'll just see like a flash of white light just during the same time. I looked it up. It's apparently pretty common. So I mean,
No,
try it out
I
sometime.
think
Close
that's
your
just the
eyes and
wife.
just
The
clap.
wife is just messing with you and flashing a light in your eyes in the middle
I
of the
assure
night.
you that is not the case. That is not the case.
I have
Just
seen
close
a
your eyes and
flash.
go.
And you see white light. I
Uh,
mean,
it's got to be sudden and
I
quick.
can see that it's possible, but I don't know if that's from the noise. I don't know if that's ever happened to me.
Okay, well,
All right, the
pay
rant
attention
has
next
gone
time.
too deep. This is for the Patreons here. For the Patreons, you got to pay for this good stuff here. All right, let us move on. I guess we're going to Robbie, but we're going to keep him under control on a little video segment. What do you got for us?
Thank you, Sam. You are listening to the Rated RX podcast. I am Robbie Bossi here with Sam Lona and Xavier Hill. On this segment of Adverse Reactions, I got a video here I am going to pull up, but first let me share my screen.
What is the fucking point of a psychiatrist? I just saw my psychiatrist and wonderful woman. She lives on the coast. She's bi-coastal. I go, hey, I think I need new meds. She goes, okay, here are your options. You decide. Me? Am I receiving an honorary doctorate? Get my cap and gown. Call my parents. I'm a doctor now. She goes, up to you. Me? Bitch, I am a blondie with a bob. You think I know what the fuck medicine I need? That's why I'm calling you. I can't make this. That's why I need the drugs. That's why I need them. That's why I need
She
you.
bit her lip.
She's ready. She's ready for the drugs.
Send a message with all the different meds you could take, and why don't you talk to your friends and family about it? Oh, my friends and family are getting doctorates too. Start the car. Start the car.
Oh, she just has that
Recorder at
line
the
around
ready.
her car.
At the ready.
Play the whole song.
Oh my gosh. Ridiculous.
Sorry for hurting you guys' ears.
Recorders.
That was
Those are
hilarious.
every parent's nightmare, coming home with those one day from school.
Oh, that was me. Just blowing nonstop. Deep breath in, deep breath into the recorder.
Man, so what are you guys thinking when you saw that video?
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious, man. She just had the recorder on the ready, just like in her car. Which adult has a recorder these days?
She's taking lessons, all right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Part of her therapy.
That's like
Yeah.
you when you're ranting, you'll just start speaking in Japanese,
Oh, I need to have my own little like just my guitar around here. So just like I start going at it. Borrow one of Sam's in the background.
Yeah, that's right. Just jam out.
What do you guys think about the stuff she was saying, though? All jokes aside, hilarious video. She's hilarious, funny girl. But what do you guys think about what she was saying?
I mean, obviously frustrated about it. Makes sense from that perspective of just being like, yeah, here's your list. Go do what you want to do with that. Let me know. I would assume that the psychiatrist has a number of patients that come in already saying what they want and telling the doctor, hey, I want this. And both like, my friend is on this. This is what I want. I saw this on TV. This is what I want. My friend tried this. They hated it. I want to make sure I don't get that. It seems like she didn't feel like that was on the same level of what she was wanting from her psychiatrist. But my guess is experiencing a bunch of that where someone comes in and they already know what they want, and kind of removing that diagnosis or decision making from those prescribers. And that was what she was probably experiencing right there.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. So
Hmm.
you're right. We are sort of in a world where people already know what they want when they go see their doctor. I was
Mm.
thinking like this is not a someone who spent time on Chat GPT before, who thought like, hey,
Mhm.
like I know everything. So it was kind of refreshing to that someone wanted to hear what the doctor was saying and get the information from them initially. So I thought that was kind of cool. But what about you, Xavier? What were you thinking about the substance she was saying through that rant of hers?
Yeah, I think the psychiatrist was trying to give the patient some autonomy and have like a patient prescriber decision, but she may have just went about it a little wrong. She could have said, I'm thinking about putting you on this one. I like this one to start with this one because less side effects. Patients tend to tolerate it a little bit better. A lot of my other patients like it. I like it a little bit more than some of the other drugs. And then ask what's her what do you think about this one? We do have these other ones, like this one's maybe 3 times a day, and this was only 2 times a day. So, somewhere in that aspect of it, like the frequency or the quantity of side effects, maybe she could have asked her for for help in the decision making on there, but like tell her which one you want to put her on, and then if she has any reservations about it, then you can go off to other ones. But like, I mean, you're the provider, just pick the drug. But if they have pushback, that's when you give them more options or discuss other things and have that provider patient conversation. So that's what I was thinking. I think she just went too loose with the autonomy. It was like, all right, you choose. They're all the same in my eyes.
Pace.
Yeah, just pick an MSSRI and get on with it, right?
They're all SSRIs. Pick one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I mean, obviously we can only speculate. There's no psychiatrist here to advocate for what happened, but what I'm thinking happened was that the psychiatrist was probably trying to get the patient involved in their own care and just get them more invested. It's like when you get to make your own decisions, you tend to give a damn more, right? And they even teach us in school these days. It's like the patient needs to be, front and center of their care. So I think it was probably a lot of it was motivational interviewing to get the patient inspired to take their meds, but maybe the psychiatrist didn't relay it in a way she understood. It's just hard to say. It's hard to say, um, but if you guys were in the psychiatrist's shoes, like what would you have done differently to not have this patient leave so confused and upset and rant about it on TikTok?
I mean, similar, giving some example, I would say, or even if she came into the pharmacy and that was that rant, it's probably similar to what you guys are saying. It's like, okay, let's start with the SSRI and let's go from there. Trying to give them side effects, concerns if they're asking about that. I remember, being at the VA and things like worried about, night terrors, that being a thing.
Mhm.
So, knowing those kind of background things for that patient, drug interactions, what they're on, help them with that. But probably at that point, it's just like, okay, let's just start with fluoxetine and we'll see how you do.
Xavier, what do you think?
I mean, I said some of the things like during my previous answer to the question, but same old things like explaining the side effects to them, like the frequency of different things, especially if all the drugs are very similar. You can say that too, like, hey, these drugs are all very similar. I'm okay with you taking any one. This one's a bigger capsule. Size of the capsule might or tablet might help, or the dosage form of it might help them make a better decision. Like they can't swallow or something. They prefer liquid or something instead. So just kind of like just give them enough information about the drugs that you're trying to tell them about. Ideally, just pick the drug first, and then like I said, they don't want that or they want a further discussion, then you give them more information about other options they have. But as the provider, you should pick the best drug for the patient that you think is best for the patient based off their, like Sam said, the drug interactions, the frequency of their, to help them be more likely to take it. Like if it's once a day versus twice a day, probably more likely to take a once a day medication. So your patient, you've been talking with them, you've been treating them, they told you everything that's wrong with them, you kind of know them. Pick the drug that's best for them based off what's going on with them and the other medications that they're on.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are taking into like other patient factors into account to pick the drug, right? Like, maybe they're worried about weight gain or maybe they want to gain weight. So I think it definitely depends on what's going on. As cura personalis, care for the whole patient, right? That's as they drilled into us at school.
Yeah.
What I would have done differently is explain the key differences to each one. If they're not all necessarily going to be all apples to apples, and explain like why, like what did you expect with one over the other. What I'm thinking happened was that, and maybe the psychiatrist didn't give the opportunity, or maybe the patient didn't take the opportunity, but it sounds like her questions weren't really answered. So if she left and was just like, I don't know what the heck to do and choose, I mean, clearly you have questions. I would have just given the patient like opportunities just to ask these questions so they felt comfortable about which one to choose and make sure they feel good about it. So, but it's hard to say. Again, we're speculating off of a, a funny little rant.
Yeah, just
Uh,
piggybacking off that, like, I mean, as a patient, you definitely need to advocate for yourself. If she's, feels like the doctor's making her choose, be like, hey, I'm not the doctor. What do you think is best for me? You choose, and then I'll go with that. Like, I don't feel like I don't feel comfortable choosing my own medication. I understand I have options, but like, can you choose?
Yeah. So, do you think maybe she just doesn't have that comfort level with her doctor to ask that? I mean, she was comfortable enough to rant about it later, but like,
I
why didn't you rant about it in the office?
Hey, depends on the person. They got patients that'll come in there and tell you what they want and tell you how you're gonna do your job, and then they
Oh,
got other
that's
ones that are
true.
shy and won't ask any questions, but are clearly confused, and they'll walk out of there not understanding anything you just said. So, as the provider and the patient, you have to, as a patient, you need to advocate for yourself. As a provider, you need to make sure your patients understand what you're telling them.
Yeah, definitely. Well, has there ever been a time where you tried to get the patient involved in their care, and basically spearhead it, and it didn't go as planned?
I would say like little things that come up of like having something with or without food versus, just, yeah, you should follow what the doctor, like they literally wrote it on the thing, or an antibiotic, like take this with food, and then start getting those nuances of, okay, like, well, I get super nauseous, or I'm super nauseous right now. Should I, take it without? It's like, you still want to take your antibiotic. Like, yeah, this is going to could be more irritating. Obviously, it could cause nausea on an empty stomach, but we still want to try to be taking that. And then they start being like, well, it says I need to take it with food. Like, am I not supposed to be doing this? Should I? Or ones that are an empty stomach, and almost the opposite. Like, I get really nauseous if I'm an empty stomach. It's like, okay, if you just can't take it, you're at the point where you're throwing up or something like that. It's like, it's okay to take it with, a couple crackers or something. Like, we want you to take your meds. And then it keeps going the other way of like, oh, well, they said absolutely nothing in my stomach. What am I supposed to be doing? But I can't take it. It's like, it's trying to give them a little more detail than that black and white, and it can sometimes cause more problems. Um, Other one came to mind is like on proper diets. I remember doing talking to someone about French fries. He would make his own French fries every single day. He loved his French fries, and he would take two large potatoes every day and dice them up and deep fry them. And so I was like, my suggestion I mean, we're going through everything. One of them was like, okay, let's just try cutting that in half. Let's do one, like still have your French fries. I mean, maybe look at, I can't remember whatever oil, but it was a good oil. It's like, okay, let's try to cut this to one of these large potatoes each time with your meal, and see how we do with that. And then he was asking about, also switching sweet potatoes and doing all these other things. Like, no, let's not worry about that. Let's just try cutting this in half. Let's change this one thing. And then it's like, oh, okay. So all that stuff about sweet potatoes was just bullshit on all these things. It's like, no, like, we're not worrying about that. Like, if we try to do all this stuff, you're going to fail. Like, trying to talk him through this. It's like, we don't want to change too many things. It's going to be so hard for you. let's just try this one thing and get you to, we don't want to take away your French fries. You love your French fries. Let's just try to just reduce them down a little bit. If that's okay, maybe we try the sweet potato, switch it over to a sweet potato if you want to try different things, but of just trying to focus on that. And then he started going off. It's like, oh, I knew it. These sweet potatoes aren't real yams, all these things, and backfired a little bit. But he did pretty well. I think he understood. It's like, okay, we'll just try. I was like, I can do that. I can drop down to one potato when I cook.
Yeah, you try to set realistic goals for him. If it's too much at once, it becomes a chore, and we don't want to do chores, right? That's just human nature.
Exactly.
One thing that comes to mind is I remember, like, this was 2019, late 2019. This was when the hyperlipidemia guidelines just changed, and they were focusing more on percentage reductions to meet goals rather than like certain values. And like how the old value used to be like you wanted below 100, but then that year was just like, you want to get 30 to 50% of a LDL reduction when you start, a moderate intensity statin, and 50% when you start a high intensity statin, blah 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 blah. And I remember having the patient with me talking about their results, and I was able to get like a baseline LDL, and I saw like after they were on the statin for like 3 months, got another lipid panel, saw that still it wasn't that goal, didn't meet that percentage reduction. And so I had recommended like, hey, we should think about increasing the statin dose. What do you feel about that? And they said, oh, I like that. But we got to talk to my doctor. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. So I'll write up a little recommendation. I'll send it to your doctor. You should also call your doctor as well. That so you tell them that we had this conversation. Tell them you're interested, and we'll just kind of go from there. And then the next 2 days later, I get a call from the doctor's office, and they were like, "Why are you telling the patient that they need to change therapy?" I'm like, what do you mean?" The patient called and said that they needed more therapy and that it was wrong, and they said that the doctor needs to change it. And I'm like, no, that's not what happened. I said like you should talk to your doctor about potentially erasing this because you're not at goal. And then and it was clear to me that they didn't realize that the guidelines had recently changed, because she was just like, but it's below 100. It's at 90. It's at 90 right now. Like, why would we increase it? And then it's just like, and I just sat there awkwardly, like, oh God, am I gonna have to explain like these updated guidelines right now? Like, and I knew it was kind of pointless because I wasn't talking to the doctor. I was talking to the doctor's secretary. So it's just going to be like a game of telephone. Like, oh no, the guidelines change. You need to do a percentage reduction. Like, these values are old. You're going off of guidelines from 10 years ago. Like, come on, So I was just like, I just had this conversation with the patient, and based on new evidence, we should increase it. But yeah, I understand. I'm sorry if you thought I was overstepping. That was not the impression that I intended to give the patient, but I guess that is what he took away from our conversation. So didn't go as I planned, but
not quite.
Not quite. Eventually, we did get the statin increased after a couple more back and forths, but it didn't go as planned initially. Yes. Hey, I was advocating for the patient. That's what I was doing.
Oh man, that's crazy. I got one that came to me. So a time where I tried to get the patient involved in their care. So when I was on night shift, right? I had to counsel the patients that discharge from the ER, and they come to the window. And I always, to get the patients involved in the care, I always ask them at the end, like, "Hey, do you have any questions about anything?" So at night, as you know, I'm the only pharmacist there. So if the phone rings or something that comes up, you know, my technician, maybe can answer the phone and put it on hold or something, or I'll have to run out and do what I have to do. But I asked that question to one patient, and boy, did I open the floodgates. This patient had tons of questions. And I mean, I answered them, and luckily the phone didn't ring. It wasn't too busy, but like, just had question after question after question. And he was like, what about this? And then, well, I take this. And is it okay with my other medications? And what about, can I eat it? And then how do I need to store it? So I really, had to go back to like school level when they teach you how to do like an ultimate counseling to hit every point. I couldn't do a brief counseling with him. I had to like answer all the questions and really tell him exactly how to do each medication. Because he had a lot of questions. So I might have, probably should ask those questions when, more pharmacists are available to cover me.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man. I feel that way sometimes too at work. I'll have like a bag of like maybe 6 different medications, and it's already a patient who has trouble grasping, just basic things, and it's just like going through all the medicine. And sometimes they'll have like an intellectual disability, and so they'll want to write down every word I say, and I'm just sitting there like, I want to help you, but I don't have time for you to literally scribe every word that comes out of my mouth. So it's just
Just print
it's
them out the
challenging.
list and be like, hey,
Yeah,
here. It's already there. Just read it.
that's what I try to reiterate. But some people they want to hear it from the horse's mouth. So what can you do? Guys, thanks for tuning in. Really, really happy you guys decided to tune in again for our weekly episodes. As always, please like, please subscribe. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, Threads. I am probably forgetting something. We're on a bunch of crap. We even got a website. So please send us your questions, send us your videos, send us scenarios, pharmacy fantasies you want us to talk about. We want to hear from you. You guys are what keep this show alive. Guys, thanks for tuning in.
Peace out.
Thanks.